Very good morning, all. I'm Dr. Sandeep Panchal. Today, we are going to discuss about the brain and its functions, how it works, and what are the basic functions of brain. So we will discussing the brain, brief about brain, what is the meaning of brain, and then we will discuss the its functions, its cognitive functions particularly. Okay, let's understand the brain. What do we mean by brain? As we have discussed in earlier class, brain is the most complex organ in our body. It is very complex, and it is the part of central nervous systems. It is very complex and it belongs to the central nervous systems. What is the nature of brain? It is basically a jelly-like mass of tissue. And have you estimated the weight of brain? It is around 1.4 kg. The weight of brain is 1.4 kg. The brain containing a staggering of thousands billion neurons. Means it includes thousands billion of neurons which are interconnected with each other. The brain protected by the three layers. When we see the brain, we can see the three layers. It is protected by three layers, which means the covering sheet, or technically it is known as meninges. We can say that the meninges or protective layers, these are the three types. One is dura mater, which is the outermost layer of, and second one is arachnoids, which is the middle layer, and third one is the pyometer, that is the innermost layer of the brain. So this is the basic about the brain. And what is the weight of brain? It is around 1.4 kg, and it is the jelly-like mass of tissues. It is belong to central nervous systems, that is very complex organs, and it contains thousands billion neurons. Okay, so we have understood brief about the brain. What is the natures of the brain and what are the structural aspects of the brain as such. Now, let's come to the part of cognitive functions. What are the cognitive functions of brain? How we can understand the meaning of cognitive functions? Cognitive means the mental process. All mental processes are known as cognitive functions. Cognitive functions allow us to receive the particular information which we get from the environment. We are selecting the particular environment from the environment based on our attention, based on our selection. Similarly, we are processing that selected information and we are storing that particular information in our brain so that we can utilize that information for next level. Okay. Not only we are not only storing that information, rather we are transforming that information to our brain. We can just receive the information from the environment and we are transforming that things in our brain so that it can be utilized later on. We also develop certain things in our brain and we utilize those stored informations and we process that informations in terms of stimulus. Whatever come to us, we receive something from the environment and then we respond accordingly. So basically the cognitive functions involve the mental process. Mental process include selection, storage, transformations, develop and recover information that we have stored in the brain. This is basically the cognitive functions meaning. Okay, why we need to understand the cognitive functions? What are the logic behind why we have to focus on cognitive functions? Because cognitive functions allow us to understand the meaning of something. We are understanding what is actually that particular stimuli is. And we are relating those things more effectively because we have stored earlier something and we are relating the new informations with stored informations so that we can understand more effectively. Further, cognitive functions are, as we have discussed earlier, that it is the brain-based skills. We cannot say the cognitive functions simply the mental process. We can say that the brain-based skills, all skills which are based on the brain, is known as cognitive functions. We need to carry out a particular task from the simplest to more complex way. We are doing many things at a time. We are studying, we are thinking, we are planning something. All are the cognitive functions. We are using the logical thinking. Why it is so? We are trying to find out the cause of something. So these simple to more complex things we need to understand. So that is why it is needed. That is why the cognitive functions are needed. Cognitive functions relate the mechanism how we learn, how we remember something, how we solve a particular problems, and how we are attending something from the environment. That is why it is we need to understand the cognitive functions. Without cognitive functions, we cannot do all these things. Okay, so let's discuss some of the cognitive functions which has been mentioned in our syllabus, like intelligence, memory, learning, attention. Before going to discuss these things, I just want to discuss what is the difference between attention and concentration. Are they same or are they different? Yes, they are different. Attention and concentrations are different. Why it is different? Attention simply means we are attending something from the environment. Simply. We are selecting something. There are many things present in the environment. We are just selecting or attending something which is under the capacity of sense organ. or which are the capacity under the sense organ. Similarly, the concentration is the deeper level of attention. First, we select something from the environment. After selections, we are focusing on a particular thing. Means that is the deeper process. Okay, so in this way, attention and concentrations are different. Okay, let's discuss the meaning of learning. What is the meaning of learning? Learning simply, you can say that it is a process of acquiring with the help of our training, with the help of experience, or you can say simply the relatively permanent change in behavior that occur as a result of practice. Everything what we do with the help of practice, that is learning. We add something in our knowledge. We are acquiring something from the environment. That is learning. Or simply, the learning is a process. Why it is process? Because it starts from the first, the first trial. So that is why I use the term process. Learning is simply the process, or it is a relatively permanent change in behavior which occurs as a result of practice. Okay. So then, what is the meaning of memory? How we can understand the meaning of memory? Memory is also a process, a cognitive process. We are holding something for a period of time is known as memory. We hold something in the form of informations. We are holding information for a period of time and we retrieve those informations when required. Memory includes the three things: storage, retrievals, and encoding, storage, retrievals. These are known as memory process. First, we encode something from the environment which can be stored in our brain. We are transforming in the form of encode. We give the encodes so that it can be stored in brain. And after encoding, we store that things for a period of time. Like we can say that it is a short-term memory. We can say that it is long-term memory. Then we recall those stored informations when they need to be recalled. Okay. Then what about intelligence? Intelligence can be understood in terms of ability. We can say the ability of the persons. Ability means ability to think logically, ability to adjust in the new situations, ability to learn, ability to quick respond, speed of accuracy. So intelligence is the global capacity of the individuals. It is the capacity, it is the ability of the individuals so that he can adjust in the environment. So these are the cognitive functions of the brains: intelligence, logical thinking, rationality, memory, learning, attention. So in this way, we need to understand those cognitive processes. Then Our mental process follow two kind of process. Two types of process. One is uh, one kind of process is top-down process, and second one is bottom-up process. Please wait because someone has joined, so that uh, we have to, because students are waiting. So I okay. There are two kind of process involved in cognitive process, like
Yes, sir.
top down and bottom up process. Top down and bottom up process. What is the meaning of top downs? It starts from the top. It's to the sense organs. It starts from the brain to the sense organs. We can say simply the brain to sense organs process as known as top down process. Our general knowledge guide our perception. Our past experience and knowledge help us to understand the stimuli. Whatever we have learned earlier, on the basis of our learning, on the basis of past experience, we give something, we perceive something, we assign meaning to the stimulus on the basis of our past knowledge, past experience. Or simply, it is the process of using context or general knowledge to understand what we perceive is known as top-down process. It has been initially coined by Richard Gregory in 1970. The concept of top-down process was given by Richard Gregory in 1970, which simply means our perceptions is influenced by our past knowledge. Why we say something that is like a pen? For example, we have understood that this is the pen because our parent, our teachers taught that this is the pen. Okay, because whenever we see the pen, we simply say that this is the pen. Why this is the pen? Because we have understood the meaning earlier, or we have understood the meaning of that particular object by the parents, by the teachers, by the friend. So our perception is guided by the past experience and knowledge, that is known as top-down process. Second one is bottom-up process. Bottom means it starts from the sense organ to the brain. It starts from the sense organ to the brain, or simply the perceptions is based on sensory input. सेंसरी सेंस ऑर्गन से जो हमारे जो ब्रेन तक जो इंफॉर्मेशन जाती है, दैट इज बॉटम अप अप्रोच, एंड सिंपली द इट कैन बी नेम्ड एज डेटा ड्राइवन प्रोसेस. डेटा ड्राइवन प्रोसेस everything based on the context, or I can say that our perceptions is based on contextual stimuli rather than past experience. Here in bottom up approach, our perception is not based on past experience and knowledge, rather our perceptions is totally based on whatever we perceive, whatever we see, whatever we are watching. Okay, so the bottom up approach can be understood while we are discussing the cognitive process or cognitive functions of the brain. Okay, so this is all about the functions of brain, cognitive, particularly cognitive functions of the brain, which we have to understand while we are studying the brain and its functions. So, in this way, we have discussed the meaning of brain, nature of brain, and the cognitive functions of the brain. Cognitive functions simply means the mental process, which include attention, selection, storage, retrieval, everything's what we process while we are storing some information in our brain. And similarly, we have discussed the meaning of intelligence, meaning of learning, meaning of attentions, and what are the difference between attention and concentrations. We have also discussed the two kind of process. One is top-down process, and second one is bottom-up approach. So this is all about the functions of the brain.